But the West,
Yes.
the West, you have no idea how excited I get when I see people like you. I can't tell you how much it excites me when I see guys like you. When I saw that, I'm like, you know what? I think you were good for Billy, because Billy can't hate you, walk away from you. Billy has to walk away and like you. We need that. We need those. I have a theory. I'm trying to see from you that this is your world. What theories do you have?
Yeah.
Because you're doing your part. It's not like you're not doing it. This isn't criticism towards you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You're doing your part. You're going out there. You're sharing your testimony. You're doing it in a graceful way. You're setting the right example. You're growing your family. You have 3 kids. You're trying to, set the example. But again, responsibility of everybody else. One side, 1.9 billion, growing faster than us. The other side, flatline with churches declining.
Yeah. I think there have been a number of things that have happened in the West. In the last few decades, I think we want to hold on to the fruit of our Judeo-Christian values, but we want to ignore the roots that actually grew that fruit. And so I think you can look at individuals like there's a historian named Tom Holland. He's not the Spider-Man actor. That guy is also named Tom Holland. Yeah. Not this Tom Holland. He wrote a book called Dominion. He's out in the UK. Now, he's an agnostic, but he this giant brick of a book, Dominion, and talks about the fact that a lot of the things that we assume within our society that we consider good, even things like just the idea that humans have intrinsic worth by nature of being human, that is fundamentally a Christian value because it comes from the biblical testimony of humans being created in the image of God. Now, a friend of mine, Glenn Scrivener out in the UK, he runs an organization called Speak Life, wrote an excellent book that you, Patrick, need to make sure that you get your hands on called The Air We Breathe. And in The Air We Breathe, he takes a lot of the stuff that Tom Holland kind of encapsulates and he synthesizes it into a more bite-size kind of portion. And in The Air We Breathe, he goes through these qualities that we look at in the West in particular. Things like so the subheading is how we all came to believe in freedom, kindness, progress, and equality. Mm-hmm. And that he traces those roots directly back to Christianity. And I think one thing that's happened in the West in particular is we want to hold on to these values that are inherent to building the West, that are fundamentally Christian values, but we want to then also strip God from them. And what we're seeing, I think, in a lot of the confusion in the West is that doesn't work. In that the ability
what doesn't work in the West?
To stripping the actual foundations of where those things came from. So you can say, okay, humans have value, and we should take care of people who are weaker than.
Sure.
But where does that come from? Because if all you are is matter in motion,
right?
If you're just the product of time plus matter plus chance,
right,
then survival of the fittest actually should mandate that no, not all people have intrinsic value. In fact, some people have extrinsic value in that what they can contribute to society is actually how we should ascribe their worth. And so say if they're, and we're seeing this in Canada with MAID, medical assistance in dying, if they're elderly and they can no longer contribute, if they're sick, then the best option for them is actually to be eliminated. Because although we're going to dress this up in language like care and dignity, ultimately what it's saying is that this person no longer has enough to contribute to society, so we should remove them from society. And so I think our world wants to hold two things at the exact same time, which are fundamentally contradictory, in that it wants to say values, freedom, unity, purpose, kindness, progress, equality. Mm-hmm. These are things that built the West. But we also want to say, well, no, all that God stuff, we want to get rid of that. Mm-hmm. And once you start to do that, you run into issues with foundation. Where are you getting your actual reasoning to say? So Glenn Scrivener, my friend who I mentioned who wrote the book, The Air We Breathe, he always says— I just ordered a book. Great. I'll make sure I let him know.
You got him a sale.
You did. I might even get him to sign it for you. One of the things he says is, when people say that morality, like where you get your morality from. And I've done this with, atheists who want to say that rape is wrong. Now, rape is wrong. Rape is objectively wrong. And I say, okay, why is rape wrong? Where do you get the objective morality to say that something like rape is wrong? And they say, how dare you say I don't have any morality? I'm saying, no. I'm not saying you don't have morality. I'm saying, where do you get that from? And Glenn has this analogy where he says, it's like saying, where did you get your pants from? Where did you buy them? And you saying, how dare you say I don't have any pants on? Like, no, I'm not saying you don't have any pants. Where's the source that your pants came from, Patrick? Where did you purchase them from? And so I think when we look at something like equality or morality or freedom, and we say, okay, where is the standard by which we can actually ground these things in order to use them as the objective goods that they are for our society? Where's that coming from? Now, I can ground that as a Christian in the objectivity of Scripture and in a God who does not change. And that's, where a lot of the founders of Western civilization got it from. Even if they weren't necessarily sold on Christianity wholesale, they're borrowing that from Christianity. It's the infrastructure that builds these things. And so I think
I get that. And okay, so I understand where, there's a book out there called How to Start a Country. Okay, and we'll play a game. And I'll say, okay, if you start a country, what religion is going to attract the types of people you want, where they want to raise their kids there to have the most opportunity, to build as big of a business that you choose to, have safety, security, what would it be? And we'll have that debate back and forth. Well, you know what? I would want it to be Christian. Okay, great. Why is that? And then you'll kind of go through the values and principles and grace, that we're talking about. Okay, great. I understand that. Meaning, even a Bill Maher says the values and principles. America was founded on a Judeo-Christian. Oh, stop saying that Judeo-Christian. I'm so sick and tired of hearing the fact that it was started like that. It's not really true. Thomas Jefferson, when you think about that whole debate that takes place. But the reality of it is, you're right. Where did those values come from? So now, I'm going to keep going back to it because this is your world.
Yeah.
I agree. It has been proven that a country based on Christian values can have Muslims living there and feel safe, can have Jews living there feeling safe, can have Scientologists living there feel safe, and produce a good environment that produces results and allow us to coexist, 340 million of us, in one place. Fair. Why isn't it doing better? Why isn't it growing?
Yeah, I mean,
why has it flatlined? What has caused that?
I think that should be a conviction to us who are Christians to say, well, maybe we have done a complacent job in our actually communicating to people why they should be, submitting their lives to Jesus as their Lord and Savior. I think a number of things are going on at the same time. I think I agree with you 100%. People need to be convictionally motivated to be examples, right? I've said in a number of my presentations that there are 5 gospels. We've talked about the first 4, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. But the 5th is actually the life of the believer, in that if you are a Christian, you are claiming your identity in Christ, and that is good news. Evangelion, it's the gospel. And if people are seeing you, they should be encouraged to then go back and read the other 4 Gospels, because that's where that source is going to come from. And so I think that we as Christians need to be doing a better job, and so many people are. And I'm optimistic about the church in the West. I'm optimistic about the churches I see that are doing good things. Now, that's aside from maybe the mainstream church or like larger denominational churches that are capitulating on certain issues that have been true within historical Christianity. But at the exact same time, Patrick, I think one of the other factors that needs to be incorporated in this conversation is that a worldview can be true even if all of its adherents are terrible examples of it. In that, I don't think they should be terrible examples, but if you brought in a cello into this room and told me to play Beethoven, and I start, squeaking away on it, your conclusion shouldn't be, wow, Beethoven, man, that music is terrible.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, I understand that analogy. But, there's plenty of other examples for me to see it, to say, okay, well, that guy can play it.
Yeah.
Like I listen to this guy's YouTube channel, Jacob's Piano. I love the way he plays piano.
Right.
And I don't know how many millions of subscribers he's got. He doesn't know me. I don't know him. But I love listening to the way he go to videos and go to most viewed. And I can tell, go to popular. That right there, that first one that's got 141 million views. I've probably, don't play it because it will, I've probably listened to this.
Yeah.
I don't know how many hundreds of hours I've just put it on repeat and he plays.
Right.
And it's just, it's 4 songs and it's so phenomenal. So there's examples for me to be able to go to somebody and say, great. Just like we have it right now. We got plenty of great examples of guys like you. We got it. We got plenty of examples. All I'm sitting there while I'm going through this is which one of these areas is our league?
Right.
Are Muslims beating us in a better example testimony, Christians? Is that why they got Tate? And a lot of young people nowadays are converting because of that. Is it because of our content? Is it because the structure, the Quran is written better than the Bible? Okay. Is it because of, you see where I'm going with this? Is it because of our, they're disappointed, heartbreak, hurt, too many letdowns?
Yeah.
Is it because of, they're there for them more than we are? Or maybe it's because somebody stepping up that's vocal, that's got conviction, that's willing to, be a little bit out there. And, when I'm sitting there the other day watching Billy Graham on Johnny Carson, I don't know if you've seen Billy Graham on Johnny Carson or not. If you haven't, I think it's worth you watching to see what he does. This guy goes on his mission and he does what he does. Sometimes Christians right now, walking on eggshells, you see the Muslim religion. I'm just while we're talking, and you know this better than I do. This is your world. Is what happens if I choose to leave the Christian church? What if I say I'm done? I don't want to be a Christian anymore. What does the church do to me?
Well, if they're a good church, I think they should follow up with you. They should pursue you.
But will anything happen to me? Am I in trouble?
Oh, no, you're not in danger.
I'm not in danger.
No.
Is somebody sending me a write-up? As the senior pastor going to write me up, and I'm going to have to go see HR department at the church?
No.
Now, what happens if I leave the religion of Islam?
Well, the penalty could be death.
The penalty could be death, right? And we've had that debate here on the podcast ourselves. So is it the fact that the fear-based and the tough, intense structure is working, but then that would not work in a country like U.S.? Because when you look at the number of people in America that have converted to Muslim, I don't know if you've seen the number or not. Do you know what the number is?
No.
What do you think? I'm actually curious because it's your world. What do you think the number is?
That I've converted to Islam?
Not you. Like how many Christians in America converted to Islam in America?
Oh, I have no idea.
What do you think the number is?
I'm terrible at numbers.
I'm
a history guy, not a math guy.
Give me a guess. 340 million people living here. What do you think the number is?
340 million people.
In America, how many do you think have converted?
From Christianity.
To Muslim.
To Islam.
Yeah, Islam. You're getting deep, so you are a numbers guy if you're thinking.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to figure out how to not make a fool out of myself. 2 million.
What's the number, Rob? Look at that. It's a small number.
Oh, okay.
And by the way, Huffington Post says it's only 20,000, but it's annually.
Right.
So, 20,000 annually.
Yeah, no, I don't think Islam is necessarily a religion where we're seeing converts. I think Islam is a religion where we're seeing importation.
Yes.
In that we're seeing a lot of people come from other countries and we're seeing families grow. And so I think that, when you mentioned the Mormon church, I think the back door of the Mormon church is a lot bigger than the front door. I think a lot more people are leaving the Mormon church than are actually.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I can't tell you how many people I meet where they tell me I used to be and they almost apologize. And I say, I'm from Bountiful or I'm from, Salt Lake. And, I used to be, I'm no longer right now. But also I think they're very systematic. I think they're very structured. I think they're very systematized. I think they lift each other up and they support each other. I don't know how many times I've been told to go watch Napoleon Dynamite, one of the worst movies of all time. But the actor was more.
Oh, well, we need to have a debate on that. That's the real debate.
Stop it.
Napoleon Dynamite is one of the best pieces of film of all time.
We're going to have a problem here right now together if you go there. But you see, so for me, think about, I'll give you another example here, and then we'll go change the topic here to go somewhere else. And I want to see if you have a message for Andrew Tate. So for me, during COVID, COVID happens. And a lot of big companies, Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch and, Chase and all these guys, Morgan Stanley, we are not going to go see our investors and, private equity money, you have to only Zoom because we have to be COVID protected.
Right.
And David Solomon's going and sitting down with people on the jet, and he's talking to guys. Jamie Dimon is going out there and talking to guys. A bunch of other guys are flying and meeting with the guys, right? So what happens? They got the business during those 4 years. A lot of people didn't. What happens 4 years later? Some of them grew. Some of them went out of business. Guess what? You're not going there to them during a time like that. I think there's got to be the how the league every 10 or 20 years needs a new superstar. Sometimes baseball or sports go through a flat time where they don't have the next Brady, the next Mahomes, the next whatever that they're going through. I think this is a big opportunity for, like, when I watch what Charlie Kirk did in the last 12 months on TikTok, it's like, whoa, amazing. The other day Trump's talking about, why would I want to shut down TikTok? Look at the numbers that we have. We're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this, right? And so what is that? What does Charlie Kirk get credit for? I think one of the things I give Charlie Kirk a lot of credit for, Charlie Kirk goes on school campuses and sits there and says, ask me anything. Is this the one, Rob? Zoom in a little bit on the data with this.
Oh, it's cut off. I have to go find the original.
Yeah, but just zoom in on the bottom. I'll show. That shows how many views on the bottom. 2.4 billion views. Team Trump. Donald Trump, 1.4 billion. Kamala Harris, 1.3 billion. Charlie Kirk, 1.3 billion. And then you see at the bottom, Taylor Swift, 251 million. Beyonce, 131 million. Kardashian, 121 million. So why would we take down TikTok? I think today, believe it or not, I think it's the season where a bigger Billy Graham's going to come that's using the tools. I'm actually very optimistic about the future. Nowadays, more than ever, the brand you wear reflects and represents who you are. So for us, if you wear a Future Looks Bright hat or a Valuetainment gear, you're telling the world, I'm optimistic. I'm excited about what's going to be happening, but you're a free thinker. You question things. You like debate. And by the way, last year, 120,000 people got a piece of Future Looks Bright gear with Valuetainment. We have so many new things. The cufflinks are here. New Future Looks Bright. This is my favorite, the green one. Just yesterday, somebody placed an order for 100 of these. If you watch the PBD podcast, you got a bunch to choose from. White ones, black ones. If you smoke cigars and you come to our cigar lounge, we have this high quality lighter cutter and a holder for the cigars. We got sweaters with the Valuetainment logo on it. We got mugs. We got a bunch of different things. But if you believe the future looks bright, if you follow our content and what we represent with Valuetainment, with PBD Podcast, go to vtmerch.com. And by the way, if you order right now, there's going to be a special VT gift inside just for you. So again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, tell the world that you believe the future looks bright. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.